I'm all yours, baby. I'm all yours, baby. I can't lie, no, to sit by my fire. It's the holiday comes.
The Sports Section
I know
Morning
you heard of BWill.
The Sports Section Morning Show.
TFTV Sports.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Section Morning Show, episode 22. 22, we got happy Labor Day, everybody. September 4th, man. We finally got a day off. We're going to go through a little stretch here where we get a couple days off. Thanksgiving, for those that got kids, fall break and stuff. Good little time coming up. Good time of the year. Fall time. Football getting started. And that's where we're going to head right into. Deion, man. Prime. Deion had his luggage packed. He brought his Louis down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, didn't he? He brought all of it. All of it. Every bit of it. And, man, it's amazing what he's done down there. Well, I'll say over there. It ain't down there. Over there in Boulder. Since he got the job in December, man. So that would give him, it's August now. So a little less than 9 months that he's had to work with that team, man. He's got 84 or 82 different players. Really, really big, just a change, a culture change that he's able to foster and cultivate down there in Boulder, man. It's just amazing to see. And to do it with the guys that he has, he's brought in some talented guys, man. Travis Hunter, that was probably one of the best games I've ever seen played by a football player going both ways. I ain't old enough to have seen Deion in his prime and such. This is the first time I've seen some shit like that. Somebody play 120-some snaps. Dude ain't tired. It looked like he was about to do a cartwheel in the locker room. It's just, I ain't never seen him like that. And to be performing at such a high level like he was, man, you got to put it in perspective. I think he said after the game, the most he had ever played was 120 or 118 in high school. But it's a different speed, D1 versus high school football. I don't know where he played high school at, but I know it wasn't at this caliber speed that he had facing against Saturday against TCU, man. And TCU was ranked number 17, so it ain't no slouch. And, you got a bunch of haters that was on Twitter. I saw a bunch of haters on Twitter talking about, this was around halftime or the third quarter saying, I would have thought Deion was up by 40, all the hype. They was 21-point dogs. That's what I don't think people understand. Colorado was 21-point underdogs against TCU, going to TCU, number 17 ranked team in the nation. And they ain't won number one game last year, and they ain't won a away game since 2021, I want to say. So 21-point underdogs, Deion had that hung up somewhere. Had to. So the haters saying this, saying that, Deion talked to him after the game too. Reporters and all. Nobody was safe. It remind me of my boy AB, Adrian Broner after the game, talking that cash. That's the way Deion was doing. And, that's what you got to do, especially nowadays with the young kids coming in, and especially young black kids coming in. You got to have some swagger about you now, man. It's just, that's what it is. That's how you going to get the best culture out of the team, get the best attitude out of the team, and get the best players to your team, man. And, I know Florida State beat the shit out of LSU, but I know they're looking at Deion like, damn, what could have been? I seen them saying that. What could have been with Deion? But from what I understand, there was a bunch of politics out there in Tallahassee that, wasn't allowing that to be in place. But, that's in the back of their head, man. If he wins more games, I don't think it's going to happen. But, if it happens, motherfuckers didn't think that Deion was going to beat, or Colorado wasn't going to beat TCU. If they were to get more wins than Florida State, the question's got to be asked. It's got to be asked if he wins 3/4 of the games that they win with the talent he has and the amount of time that he's had to work with them. It's only been, like I said, less than 9 months. Y'all let me know in the comments on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Deion and his taking his luggage down to TCU. Shador, his son, emotional moment after the game. He's giving an interview to Fox, I'm assuming. Shador, he's Travis Hunter standing next to him. Shador comes up to him, gives him a hug, man. Just a good moment, makes you sort of tear up there. And he said, "This is my son, man. This is my son, and this is my other son with Travis Hunter." And, they really carried them. As long as Colorado has Shedeur playing that way, if he plays that way all year, he's going to be in the Heisman conversation. The cat threw for 510 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think it was 38 for 47. Yeah, 38 for 47, 510, and 4 touchdowns. And he spread the ball around, too. Over 4 receivers with over 115 yards. 4 receivers with over 115 yards. I think they had a running back rush for 115. So, it was really a clinic, one, of offensive play calling on both sides. Deion and them struggled to get a stop. His son Shiloh missed a bunch of tackles. He said as much after the game, but Shiloh still let him. He was around the ball though, so you can fix that. He had 10 tackles, but he missed probably about 4 or 5 maybe. But that's the thing with Shedeur and Hunter. If you got both of them clicking, it's gonna be hard for any team to really beat them because you can't really stop. You can't really stop Hunter defensively. You can go away from him, throw away from him, which I don't know why TCU wasn't doing. TCU kept throwing at him up until about the 4th quarter. I don't understand it. I guess they thought eventually he was going to get tired or they were daring him or something, but he had a pick slip through his hands, and he had another pick where he read a weird wheel route real good, covered the slant, and also, which it should have been open. The quarterback looked like he made a decent decision. The thing is, you can't throw to Travis Hunter like that. Hunter's covering the slant from the Z receiver coming in. I think they got a tight end or a running back wheeling out on the headed towards the pylon. Travis Hunter covers both routes. He covered both routes and ended up picking it off. I mean, it's just amazing the game he played at corner. I don't see a corner better than him in the nation the way he played against TCU. And I know it's a little early, but I don't give a damn. I see what I see with Travis Hunter. And I do not see a corner better than him in college football. I don't. And that's him playing 120-something snaps. These other cats is focusing on corner. Hunter's is out there. Let me go play receiver. Let me go catch 11 balls. Let me lock up the receiver. Let me lock up the receiver on the other side of the ball. I'm doing all this and still the best player on the field. Still the best player on the field. TCU coach at the end of the game said they pride themselves on conditioning, but they're looking at him. He ain't even tired. It just puts things into perspective. But you really can't look at Hunter and compare it to your guys because he's different. He's just different. I don't know how long. I mean, if you was any good football player, you've played both ways growing up. But that sort of got tapered back in high school and it got eliminated in college. But this guy, he's performing and running around like he's on a high school football field, playing both ways. Dominating, it's something we ain't seen in a long time, and it's something people got to appreciate, man. You can understand why Saban was pissed that Hunter left and went to the HBCU Jackson State. You can see why everybody was pissed that a talent like that, and even Shedeur went to Jackson State at a HBCU. They don't want to see one. They think the HBCUs. They think down about the HBCUs, Jackson State, Tennessee State, Eddie George, who they was competing over the weekend, early part of the game. They don't see, they act like, they can't have, that caliber of talent. It's like an entitlement, but it's deeper than college football anyway. But, Deion said as much after the game, talking about, you mean Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, the one that was playing at Jackson State last year, HBCUs, one y'all said it wouldn't translate? No, man, talent is talent. It don't matter where you play. You could be playing on a cut down cornfield in Mississippi. If you talented, you talented, and you gonna perform. It don't matter. It's like the baseball players in DR. They're not playing at amazing facilities like we got here. They're not playing at these amazing high schools. Talent is talent. You gonna find talent, and when you find talent, you put talent in a position to succeed. It's gonna succeed as long as they got the right attitude. And it looks like. And looking at I looked at the documentary, not the documentary, but, the little vlog that his, I think it was his son, put together on BWill Think Media on YouTube or something. They got the right attitude out there in Colorado. They look like they got a hell of a coaching staff. Them boys is ready. They was ready before the game. They was ready during game. And after the game, they was ready for the next game. That's the mindset they got up there in Boulder, man. And they got a fan out of me, man. I'm a fan. Of course, I ain't finna, put down the Tennessee flag or nothing, but I'm watching every game of Colorado I can. They just got that it factor about them this year. And it's more than Deion. You know, Deion's a big part of it, of course. Coach Prime's a big part of that, of course. But they got some talent. You know, you want to see Shador. You want to see Travis Hunter, guy going both ways, snapping, best player on the field. You want to see that. And they got that on display. They got that on display. Let me pull up a stat. Yeah, that 24 consecutive losses as an underdog, 21 points or more. First road game win since 2021. Let me see. They were down 2.5 quarters. Hunter had 119 on 11 catches. Edwards, 135 on 5 catches with 3 touchdowns. And Shiloh had 10 tackles. So, you know, just an amazing performance by Colorado. And I think who do they have up next? Nebraska on Saturday at 11 a.m. Must-watch TV, man. Must-see TV. Must-see TV against Nebraska at Boulder. And I know Boulder's going to be rocking, man. I know there ain't every hotel room within damn 25 miles of Boulder is probably booked. Stadium, I guarantee, it's been sold out since Deion got hired. But the prices just shot up through the roof. And, you know, I'm ready to see a game day at Colorado. I don't give a damn if I'm jumping the gun or not. I'm ready to see a game day at Colorado in Boulder. I want to see it. They got the juice down there. They got the juice. Speaking of the juice, man, UT Vols drubbed Virginia 49-13. They had a bit of a slow start in the first quarter. It was only up by 7. You know, I just attribute that to just the first game. You know, it's hard to get in a rhythm in the first game. You ain't been in that environment. You just been going against your teammates. It ain't like NFL where you had preseason games, such they just scrimmage each other. But, you know, Milton, he started off a little slow. He ended up pretty decent, though. He ended up 21-30 for, I think, 209 and 2 touchdowns. Or 201 for 2 touchdowns. And, you know, you can see the potential there. He's got a cannon of an arm. Initially in the first quarter, looks like they were just trying to, you know, play it conservatively, just ease him into the game with, you know, short, easy check down, short passes. Conventionally, that's what you do with a quarterback. You know, that's what you do conventionally with a quarterback. But Milton, man, he's different. You got to air that some bitch out from the go with Milton. He's ready to go. You know, that's the thing with him is, you know, they tried to work him into the game, but it sort of hindered him against Virginia. And maybe that's just the first game jitters, like I said earlier. But I could see him mentally being the type of quarterback that's ready to go no matter what. You don't have to ease him into no game. He's up for it. He's already up for it. So, you know, that's just something I saw. Another thing I noticed with the Tennessee game, and we was flipping back and forth between the Tennessee and Colorado game because Tennessee was beating their ass. But that Tennessee defense looks like it's going to be a problem this year, man. The pass rush looked great. The DBs look very, very, very improved from last year. I'm excited to see where this Tennessee defense goes and how far it can take Tennessee. Of course, the offense is going to run the show. The offense is going to drive. But that Tennessee defense has the ability to put the brakes on the Tennessee football. You know, that's just what it is. You know, if they can get it going and play aggressive, play fast like they did against Virginia every single game, shit, ain't gonna be no breaks. It's gonna be all gas. You know, and that's what Tennessee has become this last year or so under Heupel, is all gas, no breaks. And if Tennessee's defense can continue to play the way they played, that's the way it's gonna be. And it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. We're going to see how far Tennessee can go. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Tennessee fans, I know we're at odds a little bit with Titans fans. That's that just people arguing. That's what, you know, that's what comes out of this engagement frenzy on Twitter is, you know, these people, it's catalyzed more silly conversation, and people you think that wouldn't comment on this silly conversation is jumping into the silly conversation just to get these clicks. And that's been he's done a lot of, you know, Elon's done quite a few good things with Twitter, but that's one thing that, you know, it's good that people are getting paid on Twitter, but a byproduct of that is overall it's just got dumber on there, man. It's just got dumber. People are just trying to put that 2 cents in, that stuff that don't even need 2 cents in. Sometimes, look here, sometimes people say shit, and this is growing up all the way forever. People crave attention. Sometimes people say shit for attention, and sometimes you don't entertain the shit that they say for attention. But when you entertain it, that, I hate using the word gaslights, but that fuels that dumb shit, And now we got a whole snowball of just dumb shit rolling up and down the timeline like we had yesterday, where people was commenting on something that was stupid. That's something that didn't even need to be commented on. That didn't even. I mean, yeah, the guy said it. Let me see the tweet. It was Charlie Burris. I think he's on the Vols podcast. Which, as a Tennessee Vols fan, if you're not a Titans fan, you're entitled to feel this way, and I can see why you would feel this way. Because the Titans fans, it's just you can't compare professional football to NFL football. You can't compare college football to NFL football. It's completely different atmosphere, completely different crowd, demographic of crowds, and completely different, targeting that each respective, broadcasters and leagues do. The NFL is targeting, the press box, not the press box, but the luxury box people, the people that are willing to pay $300-$400 a ticket every game, the upper class people. That's what the NFL has become. It's not like soccer in Europe or college football and college football is getting up there too now. So better watch out, college football. But they're not targeting the diehard average fan anymore. They've got them already. They're hooked. The NFL is trying to get in these upper echelon, celebrity-ish, fans that have a bit more money, and they're targeting that audience now. They're not targeting average fans like you and I. They're not. They don't care about us anymore. We're already hooked. They know we're going to watch NFL forever. That's just the way it is. They know they got us hooked. They're trying to target another group now. College football, on the other hand, is still in that mold and era of, catering to the average fan and the fan experience and such like that. NFL don't give a damn about the fan experience. They don't care. They care about that money. They care about the product on the field, and they care about that it's broadcasted well and that they can upload, TikToks and reels and shit and bust it down to where they just make so much money on the content. That's where the NFL's at now. And they want celebrities that they can cut to during the game. College football's not like that. They're still, all you got to do is pay attention to the actual broadcasting of the game. You'll see what direction they're wanting to go to and what crowd they're catering their product to. NFL, they don't pan to the stands as much as any other. I think out of all the sports, the NFL pans to the stands. This is just a gut feeling of mine, to be honest. But I see it. And if I'm completely off base, y'all let me know. But y'all pay attention to NFL games while you're watching them. How much do NFL games pan to the crowd, to the stands, to put them on the broadcast and have them, as a focal point of the shot? They don't do that anymore. It used to be a lot more. Now, if they cut off the on-field product, they're cutting to some stats, or they're cutting to another game. They're cutting to another studio in New York where they're showing you highlights. They don't cut to the stands anymore unless it's a touchdown, which they have to because the players are running to the stands. That's the only time they cut to the stands. They just don't do it. On the other hand, college football, every chance they get, they're running and cutting to the stands, showing the crowd. The commentators are always commentating on the atmosphere. NFL, they don't really do that. I mean, they do for certain teams, like, the Chiefs, where they just got rocking, the Chiefs. That's off the top of my head. That's really Seattle's one of them, but it's not many compared to college football. College football, during the broadcast, they are cutting to the fans a lot more than anything else. Got to think baseball, even basketball doesn't cut to the fans as much. But you can't compare. I say all that to say that this is a dumbass tweet, is what I'm saying. But it's dumb that it was said, but what the reaction to it was even dumber. Charlie Burris, I don't know if he's a Titans fan or not. I know he's a Vols fan. He has a Vols podcast or whatever. He said if the Titans would even take it's a video of them running out through the power tee, a really big moment for Tennessee fans before every game. He said it would take even the smallest effort to pander. If the Titans took even the smallest effort to pander to Tennessee fans, they could get more of this. Instead, they prefer to spit in our faces. All right, the last sentence was a little excessive. But that's part of the Elon shit that I was talking about of engaging. You know, that's going to get people to click on the tweet. That's going to get you some clicks, and that's going to get you to where, like he is, I think he's at like 250,000 engagements. That's the state of the times we're in. You know, he could have said that whole spiel, and that without that last sentence, and it would have been just as valid as it is. To me, it would have been just as valid as it is now. That last part is just engagement. You can really axe that shit out. But people want to nitpick on certain shit and run with it. And that's exactly what they did with that last sentence. But if you're a Tennessee fan and you're not a Titans fan, this is a very viable point, especially when you look at Titans games Titans don't have the most electric on in-field, in-stadium atmosphere. You know, if you go for the bigger games, yeah, they're a lot better, and that's a really, really good atmosphere. But it don't hold a candle to Tennessee. For one, Tennessee has 102,500 person stadium. This son bitch is rocking. It's rocking. You only hold 63 or something in Nissan. So that's another thing. But two, Nashville is a destination city on a lot of NFL schedules. So you're going to get a lot of away fans into these games. It's just like the LA stadiums and the LA teams and the Vegas teams. That's a destination. When the opposing teams see that game on their schedule, they're booking flights as soon as possible. They want to go to that game. It's a good city. It's going to be a good weekend. That's just what Nashville has. Is a blessing and a curse. But, Knoxville, I'm not saying that Knoxville's not a destination. It's a destination stadium, but it's two different crowds, as you see. You got people that are driving up from LSU or flying up from Alabama they're going for the actual game. More so the game than the city. If you've got fans that are coming to Titans games, a lot of times they're coming for the city more often than the game. And this is exclusive of, a lot of 80-90% of Titans fans, because most Titans fans are local, are going to the games and such. But a lot of the stadium and just the ticket situation is you have away fans that are there that are paying whatever just because they're in the city for that weekend because it's such a good city. So by design, naturally, the stadium atmosphere is not going to be as good as other stadiums. That's just the way it is. And you can tell at the big games, it's rocking. The playoff games, the Bengals game off the top of my head, that playoff game, then that was rocking. It's just the big games Titans fans come out for, but they don't put up with that bullshit either. So that's the thing. But, the problem is, all these people feel like they got to comment on dumb shit that said, and this shit wasn't even that dumb. They just nitpicked the last sentence, and they went on. People wasted all day yesterday talking about this bullshit when they could have been talking about the game or something like that. But it's engagement. It's it's the off season still. You got one more week. People just want to talk about shit and foster conversation, which is perfectly fine. But I can't stand seeing no bullshit like that, man. That shit pisses me off. I just had to comment on it. But I'm doing the same thing that they're doing. I'm just doing it on the video. So they can look at me and they say, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. He went and got on a whole video to talk about this. I just sent some tweets. Yeah, but, that's like I said, it's engagement. It is what it is. That's the times we're in, man. It's nasty times, man. It's just nasty times, man. All right, we're going to finish this off. Finishes off Kansas City Chiefs versus Detroit Lions. Prediction. Thursday. Football's back, baby. Detroit, I think they're playing in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. Let me confirm that before I make my prediction. It ain't going to change who's winning, but it'll change the points. You know what I mean? Let me see. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, my God. Detroit's going to Kansas City. Oh, man. All right. So, I know Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to be without Chris Jones. He ain't signed his contract yet. He's doing what he's supposed to do. That's what these running backs are supposed to do. Hold out, put your bread aside, and make them, pay you on the back end for that. That's even more guarantees you got to give me. If you know you're going to produce, you come back, that's what you do. This is what running backs need to do. Take notes, running backs. Don't be like Jonathan Taylor when you're actually injured, fabricating the injury. You don't do that shit. Be like Chris Jones. Be healthy. Be ready, raring to go. Do your thing on Twitter. I think he said on Twitter he's itching to play football. Keep the engagement up. Keep the spotlight on you while you're holding out. You want the spotlight always to be on you. That forces a team's hand. It forces the national media to talk about you. It gets you fresh on your fans' minds. Chris Jones is laying the blueprint for this, and he's going to get paid. Watch. He's going to get paid. But he's not going to be available this Thursday for Detroit or for Kansas City against Detroit. It seems like everybody else is going to be back for Kansas City. Kadarius Toney's going to be good to go. Let Andy Reid tell it. I need that for my fantasy team, fantasy purposes. And I think Detroit's relatively healthy. So it's going to be a good game against two dynamic offenses. And let me pull up the betting line on it, because I bet you the over-under is it should be at least around 45 at least. Let me see. I'd imagine it'd be 45, but it's the first game of the. Oh, it's at 54. God. Oh my God. Yeah. Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites. Over/under is 54.5. I think the Chiefs will cover that. I think they'll beat them by 10, to be honest. I think the score will probably be 30. Let's say 30. 33-23, that's what I'm saying. Or maybe 33-27. 33 is a weird score, though. I don't like that. 34-27. 34-27 is what I'm saying. They'll cover it at 6.5. They'll beat them by a touchdown. It'll be a high-scoring game. It's gonna hit the over. So if you got some money, put it on the over and put it on that 34. Yeah, that 34-27 to cash over. Put it on the over and put it on the Chiefs covering, because they cover. At Kansas City too, I think Mahomes is going to do his thing. Of course, it's Mahomes. He's on the prime time. There ain't many times on prime time he don't do his thing. There ain't many games, period, where he don't do his thing. But prime time, he's damn near like Coach Prime. He's performing. But I think Kansas City's going to take it. I think Mahomes is going to do his thing. Big game out of Kelsey. That's about his. The receiving core is still a little wank. But I'd like to see Toney do his thing, too. I got him on the fantasy league. I think Jahmyr Gibbs should have a pretty good game. With the absence of Chris Jones, Detroit should be able to get a decent push running the ball tomorrow or Thursday. Honestly. Chris Jones is a really big cog in that Kansas City defense, stopping the run, allows him to put a bunch of DBs in the game, and Chris Jones sort of soak up all that pressure and just facilitate to really control the run game from that D tackle spot. Very important for Kansas City defense. And, that could be a reason why Kansas City loses. And that will play right into Chris Jones' hands. That's the thing with these players. They got to understand, man, the NFL is a crazy league. All it takes is a loss or two, and shit, that money finna come out. You know what I mean? They're going to pay it. They don't give a damn. So, that's something Chris Jones has playing in his favor. I don't think they'll lose against Detroit, but it's there for Detroit to beat them, especially through the ground game, with the absence of Chris Jones and the running backs they got in Detroit. I think they got Jahmyr Gibbs. I know they got Jahmyr Gibbs, and the other running back, I forget who it is. Who was that other running back in Detroit? Y'all let me in the comments who that other running back in Detroit. I just forget who. I'm just worried about Gibbs. I need Gibbs doing this thing. I got Gibbs on fantasy. I think Gibbs will do well. Gibbs, Pacheco, Kelsey. I think they'll have decent games. Kelsey probably have a really big game with Mahomes. But we'll see, man. It'll be Thursday. I'm predicting 34-27 Chiefs. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Y'all let me know on in the replies on Twitter. What do y'all think the prediction? Who do y'all think will win between Kansas City and Detroit? What's the score? And do y'all think that over/under at 54.5 will cash? Y'all let me know in the comments. But yeah, that'll be it, man. Y'all make sure y'all follow on all our socials at TFTV Sports. And on Instagram, TFTV.sports. If you're still sticking around on YouTube, make sure you press that subscribe button. That's the best way to support us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video. And we out of here, man. Appreciate y'all. X&1 Show will be out tomorrow. Yeah, X&1 Show will be out tomorrow. And we'll be doing a watch-along this Sunday for the Titans and Saints game. So make sure y'all tap in with that. Give us a subscribe on YouTube, Twitch. And appreciate y'all, man. Y'all take it easy.